What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of a vlog. I'm on my way to Best Buy to pick up my Resident Evil Requiem Generations pack for the Switch 2, and also picking up the Resident Evil controller. And I know the controller is expensive, and it is, but I planned on getting the Switch 2 a second Pro controller anyways, and why not get the special edition for Resident Evil. And Resident Evil doesn't have like a special edition this go around, so at least I'm not aware of. So I'm okay with dishing out the extra chunk of change. And of course, you know, the amiibo are coming out on July 30th. We now know. So yeah, this is basically gonna be a video of me yapping, you know, until I get to Best Buy to pick everything up. So yeah, happy Resident Evil Requiem Day. Very excited, all the reviews. It looks fantastic, one of the best Resident Evils ever, based off review-wise, so that is super exciting. And the Switch 2 version is reviewing very well, with its amount of reviews that it's getting. And also, happy Pokemon Day. Happy 30th anniversary for Pokemon. Very exciting. I just got done watching the Pokemon Day presentation, and while most of it was pretty lackluster, you know, we're getting updates to Pokemon Sleep and Cafe Mix and all those mobile games, which we normally get, so that's just kind of like expected. Just expect, you know, 5 to 7 minutes after, you know, and every single one of these presentations is dedicated to that type of stuff, which is fine. I think the Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green versions would have hit harder if that stuff wasn't leaked ahead of time by Nintendo themselves. I don't know if it was actually planned to be announced today, or if they really truly intended on announcing it early. Who actually knows? But still, nonetheless, I'm excited to play Fire Red. I've already got it pre-ordered. I've already got it downloaded to my system now. So very excited to replay those games for the first time in 20 years. So that's awesome. Yeah, and then we got to look at Gen 10, right, for the first time. It's I am thoroughly impressed with what I saw. I'm currently stuck at a train. I am very impressed at what I saw. You know, do I expect cutting edge graphics from a Pokemon game? No. But I expect something to be on par for like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. You know, Breath of the Wild being a 9-year-old game almost, which is crazy. So as long as it looks as good, and it looks very detailed, like the world, the forest that the player was running into, everything looks pretty detailed. I'm excited to play it, and coming out in 2027, so they're taking their time, and it's Switch 2 exclusive, which is what I want. Not because I don't want people to miss out because they don't have a Switch 2, but I want this game to not have to worry about both versions. Jeez. And Game Freak can just dedicate themselves to one platform, and that being the more powerful platform. So very, very excited. The 3 starters look adorable. I love them. The Pomeranian like fire starter looks awesome. I'm probably gonna go with the blue gecko. That one looks pretty awesome, but we'll see as time moves on. Obviously, we want to see the evolutions and stuff like that to really make our choices. So yeah, all in all, Pokemon Gen 10, Pokemon Wind, Pokemon Waves looks incredible. It's exactly what I wanted. You know, we'll obviously get more information in the future. If this game, I have a feeling this game is going to come out like maybe spring of next year, and not maybe holiday of 2027. But either way, I think I'm glad that Game Freak is truly getting their time to work on this game, because I do feel that the Pokemon Company listened, you know, to its fan base. And Scarlet and Violet, I mean, you know, aside from other complaints, you know whether the game is not graphically great, that's kind of always been the case with the 3D generation, but never has it been so bad, or never, they've never not performed well. And Scarlet and Violet was a pretty bad performing game. Yeah, everything else aside is fine. Like, yeah, visually it's not great, but the gameplay itself is fun. Catching Pokemon is always fun. So I really think they listened, and they've already given Game Freak more time than usual for a Pokemon game release for a mainline. And the fact that they're getting even more time now is pretty awesome. I think Game Freak or I think Pokemon Company is definitely listening, and maybe even Nintendo stepped in and said, "Hey, we cannot have another bad performing Pokemon game. Like, it is damaging the Pokemon game brand. We need to put something out. We need to put out a high quality product." So very excited for that. It looks great. And then all the stuff like the 30th anniversary stuff, like the weird like mini Game Boy music player that you have to swap out cartridges, is very weird and very Pokemon in the same way. Depending on how much it costs, like I really like that box that it comes in, so I may pick that up. We'll see. And then they introduced a line, like a Pokemon clothing 30th anniversary line, which shows like the original like start screen. So I think I'm gonna be picking up a hoodie and a hat. So it looks awesome. So yeah, Pokemon Day is underway. It's an exciting time to be a gamer. You know, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff to play. And I'm still definitely a physical collector. I just love having physical items, even though I know that the Resident Evil is a game key card. Look, maybe this is a hot topic, but game key cards don't bother me at all. You know, if I want that box art on my shelf for a game, I'm gonna buy it. If it's something like Pokemon Pocopia or like Animal Crossing, or which Animal Crossing is not a game key card, but Pokemon Pocopia, I probably won't pick that up physically, because that's a game where I'll probably sink a ton of hours into. But it's also probably a game, depending on like if they're going to be adding additional content or whatever the case is, it's probably a game that I'll just be coming back to all year. So I don't really feel like swapping out the cartridges every single time I want to play that specific game. So yeah, I think that's, I don't know. I think you just have to make your decisions, and it is what it is. Like, not all Xbox games, PlayStation games are on the disc anymore. Like, you have to do a pretty substantial update in order to play the game off the disc. So it's not like the full games are on those, and it's been that way for a very, very long time. So I've truly never really understood the hate that Nintendo gets for the game key card stuff. Now, what I wish, and maybe they will do this in the future, I do wish they offered smaller cartridge sizes for developers, like they did on the Switch 1. You know, offer a 10 gigabyte or, you know, a 32 gigabyte option for developers that want to use that. Because even stuff like Final Fantasy, like, you know, that's way over the 64 gigabyte capacity. So that's why that game is a game key card. But, you know, I still wanted that box art. And I do appreciate the games that are the key card, that they offer like the reversible artwork, so you can change those out and not have that ugly, you know, game key card logo or whatever at the bottom. So that's a pretty cool option that developers get, because they know that no one likes to have that on their box art. So I think it's cool that they all offer the alternative art. So pretty cool. My brother who co-hosts our podcast with me, he I'm gonna call you out, Nick, but he pre-ordered the same edition for Switch 2. But the same thing he did last time with Resident Evil Village is he bought like the Japanese version of the game early, so he could play it on Thursday instead of Friday. He just couldn't help himself. He couldn't wait, and I don't blame him. I thought about doing the same thing, but I was like, you know what? I got to work today, but I'm kind of working. I'm kind of not. I'm doing like some continuing education. So I've got my stuff in the background while I plan on playing Resident Evil. So I get it wanting to play a day early, but yeah, I wrapped up all the games that I wanted to play this week. I wrapped up Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Game is fantastic. Probably go down as one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Although it is a bit too easy, and I know you can adjust the accessibility features to make it harder, but if the base game is just easy, which is not, I wouldn't say a shame, because it doesn't really matter to me. I just wanted like a great story, and I thought the story was great. So yeah, highly recommend Dragon Quest, and it's only $60, compared to the higher value of games these days. So that's really cool. And then I picked up and beat Neva for the Switch 2, whatever. Played on the Switch 2. I don't know how I missed this game, but I'm glad that I picked it up, because it is a gorgeous 2D game that definitely, I wouldn't say brought me to tears, like I wasn't like physically crying, but it definitely made my eyes water within that story. It's kind of just a story about like grief and loss and stuff like that. So really cool. I know it's a pretty appreciated game, and they just dropped the prologue DLC to find out how the character meets Neva for the first time. So I'm about 30 minutes maybe into that DLC. It's probably pretty short, but it's only a couple of bucks. So I'll definitely finish that sometime soon. But yeah, it's just got really cool mechanics. Like there's like a platforming section where it has to do with like almost like a mirror world, where you have to use the mirror to jump in like the real world. And sometimes the platforms are invisible until you jump on them in the mirror world, and then they exist in the real world. So it's really some really cool platforming mechanics, and it's not like a very hard platforming game. It's not like a Celeste or like a Meat Boy or something like that. It's pretty easy, and it's got like a story mode if you want to avoid like taking damage and stuff. So really cool. So yeah, that is basically what I've been playing lately. I really do. It's hard to do it when you're older, but one of the things that I truly miss about being younger and playing video games is midnight releases. I know a lot of places just don't do it anymore because so many gamers have moved over to the digital side of things, and I can definitely understand why. But yeah, I really do miss being with my friends, hanging out in line for hours and hours for, specifically, like, I just remember, like, one of the best experiences I ever had with a midnight release was Halo 3. Went to GameStop, was in line for a few hours with my friends. We were playing, like, some silly games. There was, like, food. I think there's I don't know if there's a food truck out there. I don't know if food trucks were necessarily popular back then. But they did have, like, people come up with like energy drinks and gave us free energy drinks and stuff like that. There's an energy drink called Burn Energy. I don't think it's around anymore because I don't ever see it again. But I really miss those times. All right, there's some cops outside of Best Buy, so hopefully nothing crazy is going on. But we are at Best Buy. Let's go pick up this game. I'm so excited. All right, we're back from Best Buy. Pretty smooth experience. I haven't been to Best Buy in quite a while. Resident Evil Requiem controller. Very, very excited for this. Can't wait to unbox it. I'll unbox it later on in this video. I'm not gonna do a separate one. And then, super annoying that they put these like stickers on. I mean, I get it, but it's like, come on. And the Resident Evil Generation Pack. Cannot wait to dive in and replay 7 and 8. Oh man, dude. Can't wait. hopefully everyone enjoyed this this vlog video. I want to do more of these. I haven't done one in a very long time. I think probably the last one I did was maybe for like Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I don't really think that one was that long. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll show the unboxing.